Dance has always been something that has been a part of me. It is a special way for me to express my emotions and thoughts into an empty space to get myself back on track. It's an art and a sport that conveys perseverance and hope like no other.
Hi, my name is Cameron Rose Kloss, and this is my senior year capstone project. I have been dancing my whole life, and it is an honor to make a project about my passion. With that said, the reason I'm doing this project is to educate and inspire the younger generation of dancers so they have a successful future with their dance encounters and avoid the challenging pitfalls of mental health issues. Thank you.
Question number 1, why did you start dancing?
I think when I was little, we had a DVD of the Royal Ballet's Nutcracker, and I was like 2 or 3, and I would beg my parents to put it on, and I would go through and dance the whole entire ballet, and my dad would be the male dancer, and it was just kind of my introduction to ballet. And so I think my parents just kind of put me in dance classes after that. And
I started dancing because, well, my mom put me in the class, and like most moms, she thought it was just going to be fun and tutus, but I just really loved it, and I love the idea of performing and looking pretty all the time.
It's a funny story. I started dancing just because my parents were like, Iana, you can't sit on the couch all day, you have to do something. And I was like, dang it. So then I decided to come to Buford School of Ballet just to have something to do.
I started when I was 5, so it's more of my parents started me, but they saw that I was dancing a lot when I was a kid, watching movies and watching musicals. I was always dancing, and they're like, let's put her in dance.
Why did you keep dancing?
I kept dancing because the more I did it, the more I fell in love with it, and I had a really, really impeccable teacher, Miss Ashley Lewis, when I was about 8 years old, who really made ballet something fun and enjoyable, and also implemented technique and strict requirements, but without making it draining.
I think I fell in love with the costumes and this, everything about being on stage, the lights and performing. It's just magical.
First, I think I enjoyed doing it, and then I also, as I started dancing, I kind of saw the potential I had, and so it motivated me to keep going to see how far I could go.
What is your motivation or inspiration to continue dancing?
I think that I've kind of learned to view dancing as a gift from God that He's given me, and I kind of just want to be able to honor that for as long as I can, and while it's still here, just take advantage of every day.
It's definitely seeing past seniors who've graduated and keep dancing, seeing their Instagrams and being like this could be a fun life to have after high school, to keep dancing, and so it just keep pushing me that there's gonna be more outside of my home studio.
My motivation right now, my parents, because I have faced a lot of there have been a lot of times where I'm I don't know if I want to keep dancing, I'm tired, but my parents have really just been pushing me and encouraging me, and they're my biggest inspiration.
I'd say just the joy of it. I mean, I love dancing. I've been doing it my whole life, and it's something that brings me peace, and it's something that makes me very happy, and I just love it.
I think that kind of inimitable love for it that's just constant in my life. I haven't found something that really gives me that same kind of joy as dancing. It's a very specific kind of happiness that comes with it, and there's so many emotions intertwined with dancing, and I think that just creates this really, really specific, special thing that I would never want to stop.
Question number 4, why do you love dancing?
I love it because it's a different way you could express how you feel, that it's not just talking, and so for me it's definitely a way to express how to praise God every day, and a way to just use the capabilities that He gave you to express other things other than talking.
I just think it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, both my parents are musicians, so I've always been around music, so it's just cool that you can have the athletic part and the musical part and the performing part, and it's just all rolled up.
Yeah, just all swirled into one.
I love it.
Because I've been doing this my whole life, and it's something that just brings me peace when I do.
I think it's a really nice form of self-expression because I'm very introverted, and there's a lot that can be said without words through dance, and I think that's so beautiful.
Question number 5, What would be 1 or 2 pieces of advice you would give your younger self that others could benefit from?
Definitely the only person who's really looking at you and like caring about how you dance is yourself. So you shouldn't really care that much because no one else is really noticing, oh, she's a bad dancer, oh, she's a good dancer. Like, we're all here to dance.
Right.
And so the only person you're trying to please is yourself, and sometimes it's just too much.
I would say keep going, even when it's hard, because there are a good bit of times when it got to be something that I didn't think I could keep doing because of the difficulties that came with the joy. And
Right.
I would tell myself to keep going and that it does get better, because in periods of my life when I was young, there were a lot of times when I just was like, I didn't have like a natural kind of susceptibility for it. So a lot of times I thought like I should just give up with this and not do it anymore. So it was something that I really needed to tell myself, that I wish I could tell myself now, is be like, hey, you made it and you did
Right.
it and you kept going and you were successful and you had fun with it.
Right.
I think if I could talk to my younger self right now, I think I would tell her that when I'm doing something that I love, like I love dancing, I think I would tell her to just focus on herself and not think about what others might be thinking, or if the teachers like her. Just
Right.
stay in your own lane.
Question number 6. How did you make your mind your quote-unquote best friend with the stress and strain of performing?
Remembering to breathe properly and praying before I go on, because that just like really helps calm my mind and brings me peace before I go on.
I think for me it's just staying focused on like your faith and what really matters, kind of, and not letting the ballet be your god.
Definitely just resting. Like, that's such a big thing. But like today my bio teacher was telling us that especially as seniors, we just have to have a moment of rest. And like, it's
Absolutely.
such an important thing, especially for mental health. If you add so much stuff to your brain and it's just crowded and overwhelmed and you have no time to rest, it's like everything is gonna plummet down. And so definitely having that rest and like taking the time to take a break, and like before a show, always like just take a moment to yourself before you go on stage, for sure.
I like to make it a quiet place, so I put my AirPods in between shows and I like to listen to worship music just to like completely empty out all negative, anxious, any kind of thoughts, so that it's like a safe environment.
Question number 7. What are your nutritional health habits for maintaining a healthy dancer body?
So right now, I've been doing this diet with a friend because we're kind of like motivating each other.
Yeah.
But we have not ate sugar or junk, and I can definitely see like such an improvement for my body of like how it responds. Like, your body feels so much less like, not disgusting, but kind of in a way disgusting,
Yeah.
because if you're just overfeeding it with sugar and like junk,
Right.
it's like it kind of goes with your mental health. You kind of start plummet down in a way, because it's like the more gross stuff you're putting into your body, you
Right.
know? And it's like there's always going to be cheat days and stuff like that, and you need cheat days to keep yourself like happy, you know?
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
also like, it's sometimes food could be a coping mechanism. So right now, me and my friend are like trying to teach ourselves how to stay healthy while also being happy.
I think one thing that I try to implement is, even if it's not something that's like chock full of protein or really, really good for your body,
Right.
always eat.
Yeah.
Because as a dancer, it's very, very easy to get in that headspace of like, oh, I don't really need to eat, I'm okay,
Yep.
and then it becomes not eating for a different reason.
Right.
And so I would say I always try to eat, and usually when I'm like in a healthy streak, eating healthy carbs before class and recovering with something like protein. And always maintaining hydration. That's
Yes.
the most important one, because
Yes.
food is incredibly important, but if you're not hydrated, you're done for.
How do you apply recovery techniques outside of dance to prevent injuries and strained muscles?
Oh, I stretch all the time.
Yeah.
Stretching, warm up, stretch.
Yeah.
On top of our diet, stretch like by yourself. And then it's also like, we've been going to the gym and like jogging, because it's like you have to keep up your cardio and you have to keep up your exercise to stay fit and active. And it also on top of having that diet, it makes your mind so much happier when you're taking in these like techniques in a way, you know?
Right. I go to PT a good bit, and I've never had like a horrible injury, but I go to PT as a preventative. So she helps me with, I have a hip impingement, she helps me with that, she helps me with my calves, with teaching me techniques of what to do to kind of get over that and work through some of my pain in my body. So I do that, I ice, I heat, I take hot baths, and really trying to prioritize things like sleep.
How do you implement positivity when looking at yourself constantly in the mirror? How do you maintain a healthy body image of yourself?
When I look in the mirror, I only point out good things about myself. If there's something that I don't like and I see it, I just don't say anything, and I say something else like, wow, your lashes look really cute today, or like,
Yeah.
there's a tan today, wow, that's so pretty. Like, I try not to verbalize any negative thoughts, because then
Right.
it just brings you down.
For me, kind of just saying, like, putting a barrier and being like, no, I'm not even gonna go there. And also just kind of realizing that not the way you dance doesn't always really depend on the way you look. So, like, trying to focus on other things instead of just the way my body looks in the mirror, like focusing on the corrections that I need to fix or other things. When it gets really hard, just shifting that focus.
For a long time I didn't. That was something really, really difficult. The mirror plays significant tricks on you, and it's really easy to place what you see on a pedestal above what you know to be true of yourself. And again, I would have to say the primary way I got over that was knowing that I was fearfully and wonderfully made, and I'm not made to look a certain way. I am made exactly how I should be. My body is made the way it is for a purpose, for a reason, and God didn't make a mistake with me. So I would honestly have to say that's the only way.
Definitely not looking at the mirror all the time, because it's such, and I feel like the studio does a good job with teaching us how to not look in the mirror sometimes, especially because when we perform like to the wall, you know, they're teaching us to not rely on ourselves, like from looking at a mirror.
Right.
And so it's definitely, and it's also like when you're just looking at your friends when you're dancing and stuff, it makes it so much more enjoyable than having to constantly stare at yourself and constantly being like, oh my gosh, I did that wrong, oh my gosh. It's always like how I do is I always laugh it off when I do something wrong. Like I just start laughing because it's not that serious, response. You know? Yeah. And it's such like a mental battle when you think you're doing something wrong, but it at the end of the day it doesn't matter, and you're just really there to enjoy it.
What is the biggest life lesson you have learned being a dancer?
I've learned a lot being a dancer. You learn a lot about yourself and about your body as well. It's truthfully the only art/sport that really your only instrument is your body. You don't have something like in a sport where you have a ball or a bat, or in music where you have an instrument. Your body is your instrument. So I think I learned a lot about my body and how to listen to it, how to know what it needs. I also learned a lot about my mind, and I can't lie and say that all the things that have come in dance have been positive. There have been some things that have been implemented into my brain that I kind of wish would go away a little bit. I've learned a lot about myself and a lot about my peers. I've learned that the only way to really be successful in a field is to love it. My dad has always said that hard work trumps talent every time.
I would say just the responsibility that comes with it, because dancing takes a lot of responsibility, because you have to own up with if you're late or if you mess up, if you don't have something that you need especially for a show. It's a lot of responsibility, and then also remembering all the choreography for the dances. It's a lot.
You can't do it yourself, you know? Like you have to have a support system when you're dancing, because when you do it yourself, that's when it starts becoming stressful, and that's when everything goes to your brain where you're like, oh my gosh, I have to be perfect, you know? Right. But when you have that support system, and there is always going to be support system, that's what I think I've learned is like when you're dancing, there's other people doing it. with you. And like all the teachers, they've danced before and like they're experienced through that. And so I think my life lesson is like there's always someone I can turn to, and especially like you always can go back to God with this, and it's like there's always someone going to be there with you. And so it's definitely the life lesson is you're not alone, especially when you're struggling with, oh, I'm not dancing the greatest today and stuff like that, you know?
Absolutely.
Keep going, I think, would be keep going. Because there are times when you fall, there are times when you mess up, you're gonna slip, but you just have to learn to keep going and push through the embarrassment, whatever pain, whatever, you just push. You keep going.
Don't give up. Perseverance and honestly a lot of things. How to be a hard worker. You know, I think I'll carry that with me. Just the discipline that it has.
Dance has helped me stay centered in my beliefs and my mental health. It's been a great outlet for me applying passion and self-awareness of my mind, soul, and body. At times, you feel torn in life, which can lead you astray from what you really need to focus on. Fortunately, dance was a gift in my life that guided me to stay on point with my mental and spiritual walk. I have always given God the glory. Dance is and will always be a fire inside my soul that will never dim.